In this video, I survived 100 days in Astroneer. Astroneer is a game where you are a little astronaut that gets to try to survive by colonizing different planets and exploiting their resources for your own benefit. Using these resources, you can build many things such as rockets or even a hoverboard. Before this video starts, I want to say that I'm sorry for anyone who has experience in this game because I did everything in probably the most complicated way I could. You have my permission to yell at me in the comments. With that out of the way, here's how I survived 100 days in Astroneer. Day 1 started with me using this small escape pod to land on a planet called Silva. Oh, the audio cut out. This planet is basically just Earth but with no oceans. After fixing my settings to stop my game from lagging anymore, I hopped out of my pod and took a quick look at the controls. I then claimed my first mission reward, which gave me a printer and an oxygenator. Here we go. After placing it, I claimed my second reward, which was tethers and some bites. Tethers are used so that you can breathe while you walk around. This was the only way to freely walk around the world without dying, which was kind of annoying, but I got used to it. The bites are this game's currency, which are used to learn new things to build. Spent the rest of the day using tethers to get around and explore, and in the night I found this broken pod that had some stuff I could use. That brought me into day 2, and also made me realize that these days happened very fast. During day 2, I got a quest to gather some materials, but I had no idea how to do that, so I looked it up. Just a heads up, I look up a lot of things during this because I had no idea what I was doing half the time. I love that it told me how to do that. With this, I went around and gathered a bunch of things and also realized that materials can be found much deeper than I thought.
It goes really deep. Oh my god.
After a while, I made some platforms and I put a storage thing that I got from a quest. Then, using some compound that I got earlier, I made a medium printer. Then, during the night, I connected my platforms to the base so that they had power and made the large printer. As day 3 started, I made the research chamber, which was used to get more bytes, but I didn't realize this for a while, and I just thought I should be putting new things in it to learn more. I then spent the rest of day 3 and 4 researching things. When I was done with that, I finished some missions, and then decided to expand out to a big beam of light that I saw. This took me a while because I was going into my inventory to get the tethers and put them down that way. When I got there, I saw this massive building thing, but had no way to get up there, so I left and continued adventuring. During my adventure, I found some graphite for the first time, and I was going back to research it when I found this cave.
Let me do some cave exploring. What are you? Oh, it explodes! I died?
And that is how I experienced my first death in Astroneer.
I knew it said hazardous, I didn't think it would blow up.
I then had a pretty sad walk back to my body, but when I got back, I made a furnace to smelt new ores. I put everything on here because I had no idea how to use it, and then I spent the night adventuring and trying to learn how to make bridges. I then got back and during the night made a path to a cave that I found. On day 7, I started digging to this cave and spent the rest of the day exploring it and finding all of these new materials. I then started smelting those materials, and while I waited for that, I saw that I could use this weird glowing thing that I found earlier.
What? Oh, what did I just do? If I did it again. I broke the sky open. I fixed it. Okay.
I had no idea what this did, but it fixed itself, so I never touched it again.
Fix the planet.
That night, I made a buggy and slapped a battery and a generator to power it, thinking that I was a genius who now had an infinite way to get power. I then went on a very long exploration and ended up getting lost. Took me a whole day to find my base, but in the night, going to day 10, I smelted all of the new stuff I found, and then I used a generator I had to come back and try to power the big purple thing I found. It didn't work. I got back and went to a cave to get another material to finish a mission. After doing that, I got this. I then walked around with it until I found an area where it fit. After putting it down, it made a research lab. I spent the next day doing all the things it told me to, and that night, I had to do this. After dancing with this weird worm, I put it in this, and that was it for the lab. I don't think I ever touched it again.
Oh, yeah, you're trapped in there forever.
The next day, it was time to power this thing, or at least try. I tried making a ramp, but it didn't end up working, and then I realized that I could put the rover seat and just use it to jump onto this thing. Did it? I'm so smart. Now, I already know you're yelling at me, because I could just use this tool thing that I had to make a bridge up. I know this now, but I completely forgot this was a thing I could do at the time. After doing some wiring and plugging it in, this happened. I did it. Something's happening. I went into the thing and saw this floating orb. Whoa. I had no idea what it did, so I left. After getting back, I made a tractor to finish a mission. Then I took a bit of time to organize my base. After that, I took about 2 days to explore some more, and guess what? I got lost again. Figured the best way to get back was to activate another weird thing and then teleport, leaving my buggy behind.
Please tell me you brought the car. Oh my god.
Which is exactly what I did. The next day, I made this thing. I never used it or did anything with it at all, so I don't know why I did it. And still, to this day, I have no idea what it did, so someone please explain it in the comments. After that, I wanted to do this mission, which was to activate a planet's core. I had no idea what this meant, so I googled how to do it. That's when I learned that each planet needs a different resource to activate it. This planet needed quartz, so I quickly grabbed that and went to dig down. The only problem was that I needed oxygen down here. What was my genius strategy, you might ask? Yep. After digging, some more digging, and even more digging, I found this. I then dug down and brought my car with me. Then I activated the core. The next day was spent getting resources to make a small rocket. After driving around on my tractor, it was done, and now I was able to travel between planets. I went to Desolo first, I think that's how you say it, because it was the closest to me. I explored the caves and found some wolframite, which I brought back to make tungsten. While that cooked up, I decided to customize my guy some more. I eventually came up with this drippy outfit. With that done, I used the night to level out some land and move all of my things over there. In the middle of doing this, I made a chemistry lab, and after that, I completely organized my new base. And then took some time to explore new planets and take their resources. Next thing I was working on making was an atmospheric condenser. In the process of making that, I got this from a mission. I placed down this thing and it turned out to be a train station. I walked around Glacio for a bit and found this. Plugged it in and waited for it to charge. All it gave me was this research thing that I couldn't fit in my ship, so I was kinda sad. So, I went back and made the medium shuttle. And right after, finally made the atmospheric condenser. Using that, I made hydrazine, which was used to power the thruster of my shuttle that I got from a mission. The next day, I went back to Glacio, grabbed the research thing, and brought it back home. I put it in the research chamber, and this is when I realized that these were used to get more bytes.
I'm gonna need to find more of those.
I then went back to Glacio and made some tracks for this train thing. They didn't really go anywhere, but I had them, so I figured I should use them. I then went back to my base and started to make more hydrazine. I got tired of going out and getting ammonium, so this is when I started my massive hole to get soil so that I could get things for free. Made a bunch of hydrazine and went back to Glacio with another atmospheric condenser so that I could get argon. With that, I made some steel. No reason why, I just felt like making it. After that, I went back to DeSolo to activate a purple thing that was there. This is when I learned that each planet needs a different amount of power being output in order to be activated. With nothing but the feeling of defeat, I went back home. Then I saw that I had a quest to make a probe scanner, so I did that, and then I walked around pretty much aimlessly until I figured out how this thing works. After like 2 days of driving around, I found the probe and put the scanner on it. I got a mission from it, but nothing else really, so I went back home, and it took me the rest of the day and the entirety of the next day to get back home, because guess what? I was lost again. After getting back, I wanted to get lithium to finish a mission, so I went out to Novus to get it. I got a bunch, and came back home and did something that my base was in dire need of. Got new power supplies. Now, just so you know, this would not have happened if I didn't get them for free from a mission. I then went out again to get titanite, which I was luckily able to find pretty quickly. After getting back, I made another atmospheric condenser and went to Aatrox so that I could get all of the gases from there that I would need. I then got back and made these 2 big batteries that I then brought to DeSolo to see if they would be able to power the purple thing. They were, and I activated this thing, and I immediately started digging down to activate the core. This time, I used tethers like a normal human being and didn't waste another buggy. I activated this core and went back home because I learned that I needed 2 of the weird shaped things from each core. One for activating the core and one for the satellite thing. So, I set out on a mission to get another one from Silva. I went down and this was rough. I died. Again. And again. And again. And again. And again. I died so many times that I gave up and decided to just remake my stuff and do the thing I should have done in the first place, which is teleport down. All of this trouble could have been avoided if I just teleported down, but my pea-sized brain couldn't remember that that was a thing I could do, so I was forced to suffer. I even tried the buggy strategy again, and it got stuck, and I died. That's when I decided to rage quit. Yeah, Astroneer, the peaceful game about building cool things in space, made me rage quit. Thanks, System Era. I eventually got back and remade all of the things I had on me when I died. Then I teleported down and made the thing and teleported back. Then I went to DeSolo. I really feel like I'm pronouncing this wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry. I got another one there, and then I teleported to the satellite and placed them. That's when these 2 rings started spinning around. I figured that this would be how I beat the game, so I made this my main goal. I immediately went to activate another planet. I dug down and activated this core, and this time I came prepared with 2 things so that I could just come here once and be done. I placed the 3rd one on the satellite and then got back and had a genius idea. And by genius, I mean I stole it from another YouTube video, but no one has to know. I made a large storage thing and put 4 medium storage things on it. This gave me 32 slots to put batteries on. With this, I should be able to output enough power to activate every planet. The only problem was that this didn't fit in my medium shuttle, so I needed a large one. But I didn't have enough bytes to learn it, so I did the best thing I could think of. While those were being researched, giving me 14,000 bytes, I went out to get all the batteries for my creation. While making these, I made the large shuttle by combining a bunch of things I had at my base, and then I made the silicone and graphene that I needed and set out to the hardest planet, Atrox, to see if my power thing worked. This doesn't work, I'll cry.
Oh, let's go.
And I was so happy to see that it did.
Though.
I then started digging down with the hydrogen I needed and eventually reached the core. I activated it and then went back to my ship and immediately went out to the next planet. I waited forever for this thing to charge up, but after a while it was done and I went and activated this thing. I dug down forever because I didn't have a power thing, so I kept running out and couldn't dig. After struggling to get down here, I reached the core and activated the planet. Then I went back to make more fuel for my shuttle and the diamonds that I would need to activate Glacio. I activated the next planet and then went to Glacio, which was the final one. I waited for my thing to charge, activated it, and then went down. I activated the core and immediately teleported to the satellite and put all of the things on their spots. That's when I got this cutscene.